Man, it's hard to believe that it's been over a year since Fire Emblem Heroes released on mobile devices all around the world. A lot of things have changed since then, such as the stamina count being doubled, an opportunity at a free summon with every banner release, and much more. But not all changes can be positive for some, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, because it is time to count down the top 5 units in Fire Emblem Heroes that have aged horribly. Now please do keep in mind that I'm not saying any of the units on this list are particularly bad, I'm just saying that they're not nearly as good as they once were before the introduction of newer characters, as well as skill inheritance in my personal opinion. Now with all that damage control out of the way, let's get into the top 5.
You are already dead.
Kicking things off with Ryoma's retainer, it is the Honorable Ninja Kagura. Okay, I know she has a real nice pair of eyes, but try to stick with me here. She released on, well, February 2nd, 2017 as one of the very first characters in the game. Her stats actually held quite true to what she had going for herself in her origin game Fire Emblem Fates, which is pretty nice to see. At a base HP of 31, attack of 35, speed of 32, defense of 22, and resistance of 28, she was actually an incredible glass cannon during her time. But stats aside, it was the weapon in her kit that was actually her main selling point. Her weapon of choice was the Poison Dagger Plus, which had a might of 5, which I know sounds like a piece of garbage, but it's the weapon effect that makes it worthwhile. It was effective against infantry units, which for a majority of the beginning of the game's release, about 75% of the characters were actually infantry. She basically countered the entire game at a point is what I'm trying to say. Plus, if you couldn't manage to secure the kill, infantry foes lose 6 defense and resistance to their next actions, which can easily leave them open for the rest of your team to feed on. Her special was Reprisal, which boosted damage you do by 30% of the damage you took, which would have been cool if Kagura had a little more bulk. She had no assist skill, but her passives include Warding Blow for her A slot, which gives you plus 6 resistance during combat so long as you initiated the attack, which is not bad since Kagura's resistance is not the worst. Then for her B slot, she had Dagger Breaker, which allows you to make a follow-up attack, but your opponent cannot so long as your HP is above 50% if they attack with a dagger, of course. You can obtain Kagura by summoning on any colorless stone on pretty much any banner, and she could appear as both a 3 and a 4-star rarity, which actually makes her quite easy to merge, which is nice. Now as for why she is no longer as good anymore, the meta is no longer filled with as much infantry units nowadays as we've seen back in the day, since now we see things like Armor Emblem, Horse Emblem, and even Flyer Emblem, which completely take away the use of the Poison Dagger, which was her main selling point at the time. The might of her weapon is only 5, meaning that it would barely tickle anyone who was an infantry in the first place. Plus she gets outclassed by fairly easy units to get, such as Soth, as well as more premium units like New Year's Takumi and Spring Kagura. That being said, if you still decide to build her, here are some options that you have depending on how premium you want her to be. Firstly, for the budget build, we've got Poison Dagger Plus for the weapon, Reposition for the assist skill, Glimmer for the special, and for the passives you want Fury 3 for the A slot, Vantage 3 for the B slot, and Hone Attack 3 for the C slot, with a good old attack plus 3 Sacred Seal on top of it all. Moving on to the middle of the road build, throw on Barb Shuriken Plus for her weapon, Reposition for the assist skill, Moonbow for the special, and for the passives, you go Fury 3 for the A slot, Desperation 3 for the B slot, and Speed Smoke 3 for the C slot, then wrap it all up with the Speed plus 3 Sacred Seal. Now if you want to go the most premium route, we've got Lethal Carrot Plus for her weapon, Reposition for the assist skill, Moonbow for the special, and then for the passives you want Swift Sparrow 2 for the A slot, Desperation 3 for the B slot, and Speed Smoke 3 for the C slot, with the Speed plus 3 seal finishing things off. So to summarize, Kagura basically countered majority of the units in the game in her time, which is why she is number 5 in this top 5.
May darkness claim you!
Next up, we have the Sorceress Prince from the Kingdom of Nor, Leo. He was available as soon as the game hit the App Store, and man was he an interesting unit. Let's talk about his stats. At a base HP of 39, attack of 29, speed of 22, defense of 25, and resistance of 30, things aren't looking too good unfortunately. But it's his weapon that was a game changer. Before I get into his kit, we have to have an understanding of what the term kiting in video gaming means. The term kiting, despite its name, actually has nothing to do with flying a kite. In the world of video games, kiting is essentially a hit from a distance and then run sort of tactic, which is how Leo was used for the most part. In his kit, starting with his weapon, the Brynhildr that has a might of 14 has the weapon effect in which if Leo initiates the attack, you restrict your opponent's movement range down to 1 space or less. So basically the strategy there would be to attack someone with Leo, then use a positioning skill such as drawback or reposition, to pull Leo back 1 space, which would make most units you attack not be able to reach you during the enemy phase. That was pretty crazy at the time, and you could actually avoid entire battles just by repeating the strategy, which was pretty fun back in the days. He has no assist skill, but his special is Blazing Light, which makes foes in an area near Leo take damage equal to 1.5 times his attack. His passives include Quick Repost 3 for his B slot, which after the introduction of skill inheritance is actually a very sought after skill. It allows the unit to automatically make a follow-up attack if you got attacked at above 70% health. Continuing on to his C slot, he's got Savage Blow, which gives foes within 2 spaces of the target 7 damage, so it works hand in hand with the special Blazing Light. You can obtain Leo by summoning on the redstones in pretty much any banner besides the legendary 8% one, unless Leo was a focus of course, and he is only obtainable as a 5-star rarity. Now the reason Leo is not as great anymore is because at the start of the game, he was the only character to have the gravity effect that limited the enemy's movement after combat. Actually, before skill inheritance was ever a thing, Leo was actually considered one of the best units in the entire game. But due to skill inheritance, so many units can now run distant counter and just destroy him if Leo chooses to attack them. Plus, healers with gravity plus stabs are much better since they can have the dazzling refine. His attack stat is also not that great at base 29. The only niche he had after skill inheritance's introduction was being a cavalry red blade tome user. But Sacred Memories Erica took that away from him, leaving him a shell of a man. Also, his refine takes away the gravity thing anyways, so times are real tough. Now for the builds. Starting with the most affordable, we've got Brynhildr with the weapon refined for the effect, with reposition for the assist skill, then you put Triangle Adept 3 for the A slot, leave Quick Repost 3 for the B slot, and put Hone Cavalry 3 for the C slot, or whatever fits your team you're running, alongside Distant Defense 3 as the Sacred Seal. Taking it a step further for the next step, have Brynhildr as the weapon refined for the effect, reposition for the assist skill, Iceberg for the special, Sturdy Stance 2 for the A slot, Quick Repost 3 for the B slot, and Hone Cavalry or whatever fits your team for the C slot, and then Distant Defense 3 for the seal. Finally, for the most premium of builds, have Brynhildr refined for the effect as the weapon, reposition for the assist skill, Iceberg as the special, and for the passives you want Distant Defense 3 for the A slot, Quick Repost 3 for the B slot, and Hone Cavalry or something along the lines, whatever fits the team that you're using, along with the Distant Defense 3 for the Sacred Seal for that double distant defense action. So in short, back in Leo's time before things went downhill for him, he was untouchable, literally, which is why he is number 4 on this top 5.
Time to tip the scales!
Do you remember whenever the game first released, you'd always get excited when you see Mail Robin's summoning cutscene, and then that smile fades away real fast once he realized it was a 3-star rarity? Good times. He was around when the game first released, and he served a pretty important purpose at the time, and that was to counter a certain colorless unit in particular that used to give everyone a hard time. His stats are honestly pretty not good. He's got a base 40 HP, 29 attack, 29 speed, 29 defense, and 22 resistance, so good luck with that. Shifting gears into his kit, his weapon of choice, the Blawraven Plus, which has a might of 11, and grants weapon triangle advantage against colorless foes, which was a hard counter to a certain someone, who may or may not appear later in this list. His special is Bonfire, which boosts your damage dealt by 50% of your defense, so that's really good and still heavily used today. Then for his passives, he's got Defiant Speed for his A slot, it gives plus 7 speed at the start of the turn if your HP is 50% or lower. Then for his C slot, he's got Spur Defense 3, so your adjacent allies get plus 4 defense during combat, which is cool. You can obtain Mail Robin by summoning any blue colored stones in any banner, and he only appears as a 3-star and 4-star rarity. Moving on to why he is not as viable anymore. I hate to be the stat guy, but his stat line is pretty bad. On top of that, he was used to counter colorless units, but now with skill inheritance, we've got bulky green mages that run Raven Tomes that not only counter colorless units, but also characters such as Reinhardt, which is a role that Robin cannot fill for the most part. But if you want to build them, here are some options ranging from budget builds all the way up to the most premium. Starting with the budget side of things, we've got the Blawraven Plus for his weapon, reposition for the assist skill, Bonfire for the special, and then for the passives we have Triangle Adept 3 for the A slot, Swordbreaker 3 for the B slot, and finally Spur Defense 3 for the C slot with the Quick Repost 3 seal on there for good measure. Next, for the middle of the road build, we've got Blar Hour Plus with the Speed Refine, which works best with the plus speed IVs of course, reposition for the assist skill, Bonfire for the special, and for the passives you want Close Counter filling the A slot, Quick Repost 3 for the B slot, and Drive Speed 2 for the C slot, with the Close Defense 3 seal because you are running Close Counter. Lastly, if you're flexing hard, the most premium build would be Blar Serpent Plus for the weapon, Reposition for the assist skill, Bonfire for the special, and for the passives, Fierce Stance 3 for the A slot, Quick Repost 3 for the B slot, and Drive Speed 2 for the C slot with Distant Defense 3 for the Sacred Seal. In summary, Robin was robbed of what made him great whenever the game first released, which is why he is number 3 of this top 5.
You know, I pledge forever and ever to be your #1 fan.
Damn, a free-to-play unit is on this list, isn't that crazy? It's the Princess of Asker herself, Shereena. She was given to you for free at the start of the game, seeing as how she is one of the main story mode heroes from the Kingdom of Asker. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Back when the game first came out and almost everyone was a sword unit, she would more or less destroy everybody, but times were not too kind to her, it seems. She's got a base HP of 43, attack of 32, speed of 32, defense of 29, and resistance of 22, which is not terrible but could be better. Her kit was what made her one of the best support characters in the game at the time. Her weapon, the Fensileer, which has a might of 16, makes enemies within 2 spaces lose -4 attack through their next actions at the start of each turn. For her assist skill, she has Rally Attack, which grants +4 attack to an adjacent ally until the end of the turn, which was not bad, but now we have dual rally skills of course. Her passives include Speed +3 for her A slot, and Fortified Defense 3 for her C slot, so pairing that up with their assist skill and weapon, Shereena was out there supporting everybody back in her day. You can obtain Shereena by playing the game for longer than 2 seconds and then they give you her for free, so that's pretty cool. As for why she was kinda left in the past, it's due to the fact that there are way better Lance units out there with better stats and weapons to offer as well as merges. Also, ever since skill inheritance, many others can become better support units. Plus, the Asker trio never got a refine for their weapons, so that puts them even more of a tough position. If you decide to get around to building Shereena, here are a few options, ranging from being on a budget all the way up to the most premium. Starting with the budget side of things, we have Fensileer as her weapon, Reposition for the assist skill, Luna for the special skill, and then moving on to the passives, you can throw on Triangle Adept 3 for the A slot, Swordbreaker 3 for the B, and then Horn Attack 3 for the C slot with a Drive Attack 2 Sacred Seal on top of it all. Next up, if you're willing to give up just a little bit more, okay maybe not a little, but we've got Slaying Lance Plus with a defense refine for a weapon, Reposition for the assist skill, Bonfire for the special, Close Defense 3 for the A slot, Quick Repost 3 for the B slot, and Drive Speed 2 for the C slot, then wrap all that up with a Close Defense 3 seal, you're gonna be a real bulky physical wall. Lastly, for the most premium, Slaying Lance Plus with a defense refine, Rally Speed / defense for the assist skill, Aether for the special skill, and then for the passives you want Steady Breath for the A slot, Quick Repost 3 for the B slot, and then Drive Speed 2 for the C slot, followed by Drive Attack 2 for the Sacred Seal. So you have quite the bulky and supportive unit at the same time. So with all that being said, back when there were red units all over the place, not as many good Lance units, as well as skill inheritance not being a thing, Shereena used to be out there since everyone got her for free, which is why she is number 2 on this top 5.
Oh, that's it!
Whenever I was getting ready to start making this video you're watching now, I posted a tweet asking for suggestions. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitter already, you should do that, thanks, links in the video description. But the replies were filled with Takumi as the response, so there's a very high chance the wildcard himself was quite predictable to be the leader of this top 5. He released the same day as the actual Fire Emblem Heroes game did, which is cool since he was the best character in the game whenever it first came out, I would say. His stats are actually not bad at a base HP of 40, attack of 32, speed of 33, defense of 25, and resistance of 18. His kit was super premium, and still is now, which is pretty crazy considering he is over a year old, but he's got Fujin Yumi for his weapon, which lets him pass through foes if his HP is over 50%, his special skill is Vengeance, and it boosts damage dealt to foe by 50% of damage dealt to you prior to your attack. His passives include Close Counter for his A slot, which lets him counterattack regardless of where the enemy is attacking from, which is pretty damn good, and even after an entire year, this skill is still super exclusive, only being available to 2 characters, the other being a seasonal character, Winter's Envoy Tharja. His C slot is Threatened Speed, so that helped a lot when it came to doubling slightly more speedy units. You can obtain Takumi for free. Due to the May 9th, 2018 update, he is now given to all players as a free 4-star character, but you can also summon him as a 5-star exclusive on any banner that isn't focus locked. Moving on to why he is no longer scary as he once was, it's quite simple. A lot of units can one-shot him now, which makes Close Counter whatever. Also, his bulk isn't that good, and his refine is nothing too special either, so he can easily get replaced by units such as Bride Cordelia, Innis, Brave Lyn, Love Abounds Roy, and even Leon. Now on to the builds. Starting with the most budget friendly, we've got Fujin Yumi with the speed refine, Reposition for the assist skill, Luna for the special skill, and for the passives you can go ahead and put Fury 3 on the A slot, Desperation 3 for the B slot, and Threaten Speed 3 for the C slot with the Speed plus 3 seal. Next up, you can give him the Brave Bow plus for the weapon, Reposition for the assist skill, Death Bow 3 for the A slot, Swordbreaker 3 for the B slot, and Threaten Speed for the C slot with an Attack plus 3 seal to boost your stats slightly for the Twitter post and hope nobody notices. Lastly, if you want to go the premium route, you can use Fujin Yumi Refine for the effect, Reposition for the assist skill, Luna for the special, and then Attack slash Speed Bond 3 for the A slot, Wind Sweep 3 for the B slot, Threaten Speed 3 as the C slot, and then a Speed plus 3 seal on top of it all. All that being said, back in his day, people had teams built around countering Takumi alone, and it was an absolute nightmare at the time, which is why he is the #1 character in Fire Emblem Heroes that aged horribly. Thank you so much for watching, hopefully you all enjoyed. If so, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already, because I got a lot more to come. Also, a huge shout out to Phoenix Master 1 for damn near recording this entire video for me for the footage of the characters in which I didn't have, so I wholeheartedly appreciate it. You should go ahead and check him out. Link to his channels in the video description down below as well as on the screen now. And also, special shout out to my boy Winston. I'll put his Twitter in the video description down below if you want to check him out. For proofreading my scripts, I appreciate that to make sure I make no mistakes. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.